FM News Talk 97.1. On demand audio. Common Sense Radio.
This is prime time television here, folks.
$8:38. Thanks a lot for joining us.
What's up, gangsters?
$8:39, and later on we're going to talk to Paige and some other folks about this whole fast food conspiracy. I'll explain in just a second. In the meantime, I want to get to Chris Wallace, who I don't want to leave him on hold. A busy man right there. Chris Wallace from Fox News Sunday. How are you, my friend?
I'm okay. How are you, Jamie?
I'm doing fine. I know that it's been a rough couple of weeks for you, and so I don't want to have to. And I realize you've got a lot on your plate, but I wanted to see if I could double back because I didn't get a chance to talk to you last week upon the passing of your father. And I thought that show that you did where you replayed that interview it did with him, I just was so moved by it. And it was so impactful. And having lost my dad back in 1997, I'm totally with you. But still, I just thought it was great. And if you don't mind me playing a little bit here just for a second and ask you about it. But I thought this was the moment that just absolutely was stunning television for me.
It's a great book. It is a great life. I couldn't be prouder of both, and I love you.
I love you.
And you know, Chris, I bet you are so glad that you said that.
Well, yes, I'm much happier than having said it, and thank you for your best wishes, and thank all your listeners. I've gotten so many emails and notes and all kinds of things. People have been incredibly sweet and supportive. Much more important than saying it on the air, we said it in private to each other often, and we had a rocky relationship, but we found our way to each other in the last 20 years. And, one of the things that has given me the greatest comfort over the last couple of weeks has been that there was no unfinished business. I loved him, and he knew it. He loved me, and I knew it. And it's not like there's anything that was left unsaid. I not for a minute have I said to myself, "Gee, I wish that we didn't have that." And if there's one lesson or piece of advice I would give to your listeners and to you, it's exactly that. Particularly if you have an aging parent, is just make sure you take care of the business, and that there are no regrets afterwards because you didn't say something you meant to say. And we didn't. We absolutely had said everything.
Yeah, you seized every moment, and that was amazing. I know it's interesting. You're a very by talking to you and with your book, with your wife, and you talk about your kids and your grandkids, and you're a very family oriented guy, and I'm sure that's why this relationship, ultimately making it the best you could possibly make it, was so important to you.
Well, yeah, and I think that my father. And he would admit this, I'm not telling any tales out of school, particularly in the early part of his career, work came first. And look, work can come first, or it can certainly be very important, but I don't think it has to be a choice. I think you can work hard and be successful and also care for your family. And I think my father, as he got older, realized that he had somewhat neglected his family. I think I took a lesson from that, which was not to do that, and have always had. I like to think, I don't know, maybe my kids will tell you what an SOB I am, but I think they'd say I'm a pretty good dad.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, and that's really hard to do. And let me ask you just really briefly, and then we'll move on to Fox News Sunday. But do you find have you made sacrifices in your life? And I mean, obviously, you've been very successful. You're a White House correspondent, and you've done some great things. But are there things that you kind of left by the wayside that you can actually recount as a result of your making sure you made sure that your family was and work was balanced?
Nothing that comes immediately to mind, but that's, I guess, part of the point. Is that I think you can do both. I don't think that there's any reason why you can't be a great dad and I hope a good husband and a good son, and also pursue a career and pursue it in a big fashion. I think it's more attitude than it is time per se. I think it's just a question of, and I don't want to hold myself out as some great example, as I say, my kids, and I have a bunch of them would probably say, "Oh yeah, wait, who's he telling people?" But I just think that there's it's an attitude that you that kids are important and family time is important. Did I miss some events? Sure, I can remember missing events, but I think that if the kids know that they're important to you and they're a priority, they may be upset. Now, yes, I certainly missed some events and plays and games and things like that, but I don't think they ever for a minute thought that they weren't enormously important in my life.
Well, as tough as this past couple of weeks have been, you certainly touched people in a way I think that you don't normally touch us, which is as a correspondent, as a Fox News Sunday host. So it was really nice to be able to see that last week.
Thank you. Thank
we
you.
Appreciate it. So Fox News Sunday, what's going on?
Yeah, let's get back to business. And my father certainly would say, let's get on. Well, there are a couple of good stories. One of them, obviously, is the 2012 election. We're going to have, and I suspect we're going to run through a bunch of these guys. One of the front runners is a possible vice presidential running mate. Mitch Daniels, the governor of Indiana, is going to be on the show. He endorsed Romney this week. A lot of people thought he should have run for president. He's got a terrific record in terms of job creation and really a deficit hawk in Indiana. We'll talk to him. And we're not quite booked on it yet, but we know we're going to be covering this Secret Service scandal and investigation. Really just, as somebody who, as you say, covered the White House for 6 years, and you had this sense that these guys, and look, they're extraordinary. I mean, they literally, as part of their oath, whether it's spoken or unspoken, say they would take a bullet for the president. They would jump in front of a gun to protect the president's life. So I have enormous admiration for them, and which is all the more reason why I'm so shocked at the misbehavior of these guys down in Colombia, because and from everything I've heard from former Secret Service agents, they're shocked because it goes against the code of complete devotion to duty, and you don't do anything to embarrass the president or the country or whatever. And you do have to wonder if they did it this time and they did it so egregiously, have they done that kind of stuff before?
Yeah, and as you point out, too, there's probably nobody more upset about what went on down there than other Secret Service agents.
I mean, there's a real code and a real brotherhood. And these guys literally are prepared to sacrifice their lives to protect the president or any of the other people that they protect. And so to see this kind of stupidity is really quite it's sad.
All right. Well, Chris Wallace, thank you for all you've done, not only on Fox News Sunday, but also giving us some life lessons as a result of the passing of your father. So we really appreciate you, and thanks for the insight, buddy.
Thank you. I think I'm going to go call one of my kids right now.
Oh, fantastic. I think I'll do the same after the show, my friend.
All right.
All right. You take care.
I used to ride.
Allman in the morning. Common Sense Radio.
I used to write letters. I used to sign my name.
Yeah, that was great, man. I mean, what a nice moment, that a lot of us can extract from other people's. I don't want to call it an unfortunate situation because obviously, Mike Wallace lived a full life, but it's great to be able to extract something we can all take with us from these natural turns of events. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Common Sense Radio.